All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to an episode of Cheetah.
And the cheese.
Appreciate you guys tuning in today. Make sure you comment in the chat. Let us know what you think about all the games coming up as we talk about them. Cheese, you are the champion of the 2020 regular season game picks. Whoops. All right. Had that thing going. Just try to share the link. If you could, please like, share, comment. Sharing does the most for us. You know, we've done this all year long, and now it's playoff time, baby. It's playoffs. What you think about these playoffs, Choose?
Man, they're gonna be. Just look across the board and look at these matchups, man. These matchups are about to be insane. We got some rivalries. We got some people trying to get their face back in some of these games. I mean, it's gonna be insane. I don't know. My blood pressure's getting up just thinking about it. It's absolutely insane, man. Like, it's gonna be some great competition, great games, and man, these games can go either way. So I'm excited, man. Let's jump into it.
This is the time of the year where maybe your team didn't make the playoffs, but at least we can talk junk to all the teams that did, and if they lose, there's still going to be 31 losers and not winning the Super Bowl. So, I mean, the teams that are already out, hey, we get a higher draft pick, right? It's nice to see kind of what we got going on here. So if you're looking at the schedule, obviously you know the Chiefs and the Packers have the first round bye with the number 1 seed. You know, we are excited to kind of see who they get to match up with after this week. They did put an extra team in the playoffs this year, in case you were wondering. But without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started. The first matchup of the day. We got the Colts going to Buffalo to play Josh Allen's Bills. Chiefs, I got a couple stats for you. The Colts beat them the last 2 times that they've played each other, but the Bills overall have the series at 37, 32, and 1. Josh Allen's 5th in passing yards. Jonathan Taylor is 3rd in rushing yards. The Colts defense is 20th versus the pass. Bills is 17th versus the run. Both of them have 17 interceptions on the defensive side of the ball each. What you think about going into this game?
Man, Colts defense is absolutely phenomenal. Like I've been saying, they probably got one of the best linebackers in the game. But that being said, the Bills are playing straight out, man. And they're going to go play in Buffalo. It's cold. Buffalo is a little hostile environment up there, especially at this time. They're in the playoffs. It's going to be cold, like I said. Josh Allen has been playing crazy. Stephon Diggs has been playing outrageous. And if those two guys can connect outside of the box, if they can control the game outside of the box and utilize, that connection we've seen between Allen and Diggs, then I think they can come away with it. I think they try to find ways to fluster I just lost my train of thought. Colts quarterback, man. Phillip Rivers, I figure out they find a way to fluster him a little bit. It's going to be cold a little bit. I think he's going to be more out of his element. So I think he gets flustered. If they get Phillip Rivers pissed off, like I think they can, especially playing in this environment, then that definitely weighs well to the Buffalo Bills. And Buffalo Bills is scary, man. I mean, the Colts is a really good team too. The defense has helped them definitely hold them together and help mold them to get to these playoffs. But I'm gonna have to go Bills, man, on this one. They're dangerous and they got a lot of firepower for real.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on the pick with the Bills. They are 6.5-point favorites. Do they cover? I don't know. The Colts, on the other hand, they have one of the top defenses, as you can see on these pictures. Leonard, one of the top linebackers in the league, he was hurt a little bit at the beginning of the year. And then, to keep this offense off the field, Josh Allen off the field, you have to run the ball effectively. You have to burn clock and give him limited opportunities. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Colts can actually pull that off. Phillip Rivers is a dink and dunker kind of quarterback, and then he's got a good running game, a good O-line. But Josh Allen, the surprising stat for me was he throws the ball on first down about 63 or 64%, which is about 10% more than what they were last year. So he's basically going to take the reins. He probably checks in and out of it, and he's dynamic with his legs. So it's going to be hard to stop. The Colts defense definitely have their jobs. They got to make money tonight. That's for sure. And the defense for the Bills, they've been pretty dang good all year too. Tre'Davious White in that secondary is arguably one of the top 5 corners in the league right now. And they haven't really been, I guess, tested as much as maybe the Colts will test them. I know they've played each other twice the past 2 times. Or actually, they played earlier in the year, and the Colts ended up beating them. But Josh Allen, I'm riding your MVP race, man. I hope you get that MVP. I think you've done enough stuff to do it. And I think he gets it done, getting his first playoff win. Buffalo hasn't had a playoff win since 95, dude. 90-5. And they're in Buffalo. So
that's why it's going to be so damn hostile up there, man. It's going to be insane. The fans are going to be absolutely crazy. But like one thing I want to add too, like you're saying, I think a lot of times that percentage going up, I think it's more so because they put a lot more RPO in their game later on in the year as well. And if Allen's seeing that and pulling the ball and reading the 1 key, the 2 key of Stephon Diggs, and I think that's what's helped opening up Stephon Diggs a lot of time, especially when teams are trying to cloud cover him, is giving that RPO action, and they've been absolutely just killing it, man. So, and this is a different Bills team than when they played the Colts, I think. They have hit stride. And, Colts was coming out banging at first, and now they're kind of just like, all right, we found our identity. This is kind of what we are. And I think the Bills has kind of skyrocketed a little bit since then, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, there are going to be questions at the end of this stream, so make sure you stick around for it. Me and Cheetah are both taking the Bills on this one. We just think their firepower is too much, and that defense will get it done. Sean McDermott's a great head coach, and man, he cashed in when he got Josh Allen. So going on to the next matchup, we got the Rams and the Seahawks. This is a battle of the NFC West again. This is the third time this year they will play. They split the previous 2 meetings this year. The Seahawks overall are 25-21. And including 1 playoff win whenever playing the Rams. DK Metcalf is the 7th receiver overall in receiving yards. Cooper Kupp is the 22nd. And Robert Woods isn't too far behind. Robert Woods is kind of that X-factor guy on that offense, in my opinion. Then we got Bobby Wagner, the 7th leading tackler, and Aaron Donald, the 2nd sack leader with 13.5 sacks. But the Rams also had Walford, I think. Jared Goff might give it a go at a warm-up, see how his thumb's doing. I know he had surgery on that. Walford starting for the Rams today. I don't know. It's not looking good for the Rams. But on the other end of the stick, freaking Seattle can't score the past couple weeks. So I'm interested to see kind of that Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf matchup again on the edge, and then see which quarterback makes the least amount of mistakes. And Russell, man, he's got to prove himself if he even wants to consider himself elite. I mean, he's a great football player, don't get me wrong, but, man, his playoff runs and his late season antics are just not a Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes-esque, Cheese, what you think about this game?
If Jared Goff was 100% healthy, I'd definitely go with the Rams on this one because I'm going to ride the defense. And I think that, that defense is absolutely insane. It's scary. You got Ramsey. He can try to utilize and shut out as much as he can, which he's really effective of it. Shutting down Metcalf, and that's what Russell Wilson's go-to has been anyway. At a lot of times, and can they get that run established with Aaron Donald being put at so many different places? So they're gonna have a hard time against this defense. But Jared Goff says he's gonna have to play at any point, and he's ready to play. But having surgery on your hand and being the quarterback, we can imagine how that's going to be. So I'm going to ride with the Seahawks right now just because Jared Goff's out. I don't know anything about the backup quarterback that's supposed to be coming in. How many snaps does he take? And if he takes majority of the snaps, is he – I mean, he hadn't played all year pretty much. And is he going to be able to perform and do what they need to do to win the game? Because the defense is going to have to play lights out. But do I see the Rams having a really hard time scoring if Goff's not in there? Yes. Do I see the Seattle Seahawks at least scoring against that defense at least once? Yes. Is it a 7-0 game and then Seahawks go out and win it because the quarterback can't produce anything? Maybe. But, I'm going to ride with the Seahawks on that one. I totally agree with you that Russell Wilson has to step his game up a little bit. He is an elite quarterback. He has proven himself over the years, but how long is that longevity staying in the league? Is he a few years, or is he one of those all-time greats that's been producing every single year multiple times? And, he's got to do a little bit more for me this year. But I'm going to ride with the Seahawks on that just because of the Jared Goff situation.
Yeah, and defense usually wins championships, and the Rams have a spectacular defense. They did lose to the Jets, which was very surprising this year. And they've kind of been on a downward slope or downward spiral the last few games of not being able to put points. The Wolford kid his first pass was an interception. last week. And then he basically started rolling. Like, he got in a rhythm and he took care of the ball. Cam Akers is going to have to be big for the Rams if they even want to compete in this game, in my opinion. I don't think the wideouts, they're going to catch screens. Sean McVay's going to have a good game plan, obviously. But Pete Carroll, man, he's been around for a while. He's intense. It's in Seattle. Oh, I got to go Seahawks too, Matt. And I think Russell, he finds his groove and he starts getting that playoff rhythm football. Hopefully, I don't see him winning the NFC Championship though. That's just me, and we'll get to that. But so we're both taking the Seahawks. So we're both taking the home teams, Bills and Seahawks so far. Okay, the next Saturday game that we're going to talk about, we got the Bucs and the Washington football team. The NFC East had to get in the playoffs, one of them at least, and the Washington football team got in there. Alex Smith, he's the comeback player of the year. Tom Brady, he's the second in passing yards per game. Okay, a couple other stats. They haven't played each other since 2018, and the Washington football team actually leads this series versus the Bucs 12-11. All right, the Bucs are third in points per game. The defense for Washington football team is fourth in allowing points per game. They're second in passing, so that kind of contradicts the Tom Brady passing yards, right? You got the number 2 passing defense, and then they're also holding people and to less than like 5 or 6 yards of play, which is second in the league. The Bucs have a big loss in the linebacking core, Devin White, and then that D-tackle Ledbetter. He's a young guy, but he was getting in the rotation. He is also out. So Devin White getting lost for the Bucs is devastating for that defense.
And Mike Evans.
I'm excited to see what Chase Young, if he even sacks Tom Brady, though. Tom Brady's one of those guys that get the ball out of his hands pretty quick, but Chase Young, he is a freak. He might just be able to get his hands up and pick that ball out. I don't know. This is going to be secretly and not surprisingly, but actually surprisingly, this is going to be probably the game of the week, dude, in my opinion, for the NFC. This is a big deal. I told you guys about 8 weeks ago that somebody in the NFC East would win and make it maybe to the NFC Championship. Alex Smith, I like him. I've always really liked him. He's a game manager. He's going to get the guys in the right position. Antonio Gibson's back off injury. And then you still got Terry McLaurin on that side of the ball. And then the tight end, Logan Thomas, kind of came out of nowhere. So the Bucs are going to have their handful, even though the Washington offense was ranked 31st in efficiency. And then that defense, it speaks for itself, ranked second. Does it stop Tom Brady? Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm reading things like they might go ahead and alternate, what they say, Alex Smith and the other quarterback, Terry McLaurin, to see who's going to play. And I think they're so low in their offensive productiveness right now is because they haven't had just like a stable one-type quarterback for the whole year. They've been trying this guy and dipping in this one and dipping in that one. So I hope they don't do that again. I like Alex Smith staying in there. Tom Brady is definitely going to get pressured. Tom Brady is definitely going to get put on the ground. Mike Evans is a game-time decision. I don't think he goes because that was a pretty nasty injury. It looked he didn't even get up after that play last week or last game. It's going to shock people how close this game can be and probably will be. The defense for Washington, people cannot sleep on them. They've proven themselves with those stats. Chase Young is definitely a beast, and he's definitely going to be in Tom Brady's face. Now, do they find ways to get out of that? Do they find ways to not let Chase Young utilize and just control the whole line of scrimmage? That's the main key in my mind. He's definitely got people he can sling the rock to, but we've seen Tom Brady look extremely good, and we've seen Tom Brady play like absolute crap sometimes, especially when he's flustered and he's got pressure in his face. He don't like to be touched. He's playing a very good front four right now, a fantastic front four right now in the NFL. So I think he will get flustered and he will get touched. To say who I think will actually come away with this game, the Bucs have a lot of firepower, but they are losing somebody, a little bit on offense. They are losing something big on defense. I'm going to go crazy and shock the world, man. Let's go Washington.
Man, I was wanting to pick Washington because I hate Tom Brady. I'm surprised you don't want to go with your Bucs. That's your second team, you Green Bay Packers.
I don't want to play the Bucs. I don't want to play the Bucs at Green Bay.
True.
I'd rather play Washington, so I'm going to go with Washington on that.
since you're going Washington, I was about to go crazy over here for the people in the chat. I was about to pick the football team, but I'm going different. Even though I hate Tom Brady, I'm going with the Bucs. They're all on the road, and with Mike Evans out and freaking Devin White, that's going to be a hard one. But at the end of the day, it is Tom Brady. He does stupid things over here in playoffs. So I'm going different on you. I'm going Bucs. All right, so that's the first one that we are different on. That's going to conclude the Saturday games. What's going on, T-Ram? And it ain't that crazy to pick. I think Chase Young is going to definitely control that line of scrimmage, and he's going to make some big plays, maybe a strip sack, fumble, touchdown. Who knows? You know,
Great defense and control the line of scrimmage, man. That can win a lot of games.
I think Alex Smith does one or two mistakes, or maybe that rookie running back, Antonio Gibson, puts the ball on the ground with a decent Bucs. Todd Bowles has got the Bucs as a D coordinator in pretty good position. But moving on to the next pick, first game on Sunday, we got the Ravens going to the Tennessee Titans. So a couple stats for you guys just to read them off. You know, Titans are up in this rivalry 13-12. Titans have actually won the last two meetings. One of them was knocking them out of playoffs. Actually, both of them were knocking out of playoffs. Derrick Henry, King freaking Henry, is the leading rusher in the NFL. He eclipsed over 2,000. That's amazing. We picked the same. We both went with the home teams, the Bills and the Seahawks, which that one was good. You have to rewatch it, buddy. Jackson and Dobbins. So the Ravens were the number one offensive rushing team in the league this year with everybody that was touching the ball, right? They have like a three-headed backfield duo and then Lamar Jackson. But Derrick Henry still owns the rushing title. You know, the ninth rusher as a QB in Lamar Jackson, that's always good to have because he makes chicken soup out of chicken shit. You know, that's the old saying. And then Dobbins is also the 18th leading rusher. So he, as a rookie, has had quite a good year. You know, he's about average, a little bit below average. But if he's splitting time like that, of course he's going to be kind of where he's at. But imagine if they give that guy the rock the whole time. A couple other things. Titans have allowed the fifth most yards all season. I was reading up on this, and no playoff team has given up that many yards. So it's not looking good for the Tennessee defense unless Mike Vrabel can have some tricks up his sleeve. And the Ravens are top 7 in yards allowed. So they're one of the best defenses in the league. They don't really give up too much. 19 points per game, and the Titans give up 27 points per game. Cheese, what you think about this?
I bet I like what the Titans have done all year. I've really been a fan of what they've done, honestly, the past 2 or 3 seasons. But I think Lamar Jackson finds a way. I mean, we're talking about Tennessee Titans that kicked the field goal at the end to be a really struggling Texans team. The stats that you just said, the defense have been struggling a little bit. Derrick Henry has certainly helped keep them and control games for them and be able to keep their defense off the field and keep their offense on the field. I feel like Lamar Jackson, man, he gets outside the tackles. He's going to run a lot more. He has. I mean, we're in the playoff time now. You gotta win and go game by game. You gotta lay it all out on the line. And Derrick Henry is absolutely a beast. But we have seen some good defenses slow him down a little bit. Didn't say stop because it's hard to stop that man. That man is a moving truck, and he's one of my favorite running backs to watch ever. But we have seen teams slow them down and find ways to utilize them and make Tannehill have to win the game by himself. And I don't think, if I'm looking at Tannehill and I'm looking at Lamar Jackson, I think Lamar Jackson takes it and absolutely runs with it and gets outside the tackle, gets outside the box, and find ways. If things are not open, he needs to be able to roll out of the pocket like we've seen him do before. And when they win big games, to get that first down, to get 6 or 7 yards and get out of bounds, to be able to, and then start establishing the run inside of it, inside the box. So I'm going Ravens on this one. I think they find a way to start chopping up that Titans defense a little bit. Ravens have to just slow down Derrick Henry, and that's an extremely hard task to do. And it's 50-50 in my mind. Either you can slow him down or either you're not going to slow him down at all. There is no really gray area on that. So I think Lamar Jackson gets it done. I'm riding with the Ravens on this one. I think they want that rematch too, man.
I'm definitely going opposite. I'm going with the play action, Ryan Tannehill, the A.J. Brown. I mean, I think they are pretty dominant. They're going to keep Lamar Jackson out the field just like the Colts are going to try to do versus the Bills. They can do it. What the Ravens do struggle with that I've seen in weeks recent, and Tanner, I see your comment, Ravens are hot, Titans are not. Ravens in a close one. I do think this is a nail biter. I think the defense, even though they've allowed so many yards, it's playoff time, baby. And that changes the game. Playoffs, you start to win or go home. That's the mentality. And so people are playing with their hair on fire on the defensive side of the ball. And I think the Titans defense is pretty sneaky, man. I got to go different with you. And I think King Henry keeps going for the third year in a row. They upset the Ravens in the playoffs at home. Boom! That's my hot take.
I like it. Record it.
Yeah, we got it. So make sure you guys comment in the chat so we can talk about it. You can talk about it. Okay, the next matchup we're going to go over. We got the Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. They both played each other. They split this past week because of week 17. Big Ben wasn't playing. There's a couple of key guys out. But a couple stats for you. The Steelers are owning the Brown in this series, this rivalry. They're both in the AFC North, 77-60. That's a whole season. Or if you think about it, that's what, about 8 years winning? I don't know. But again, it was a real close one, even with the backup Mason Rudolph in this past week 17. The Browns defense are 17th in yards against, but the Steelers defense is 3rd. Okay, Mike Tomlin did a really, really good job on how to, I guess, control his team the way he wants. He's winning when people are out. Even though they're struggling, he's keeping the mindset of the players where it's supposed to be. They've had an easy strength of schedule. Everybody knows that, right? And then they lost some big games towards the end versus the good football teams. But I don't know if they go out versus the Brownies again. The third time, Mike Tomlin's going to draw some stuff up, and so were the Browns, though. Kevin Stefanski ended up testing positive for COVID. So I don't know if he's going to be able to coach, or if he does, maybe they have something special for him, or maybe they even push this game back. I don't know. All right, but Nick Chubb is 7th in rushing. Big Ben has been one of the least sacked quarterbacks, so they are protecting Big Ben back there with that offensive line, and they've got weapons to throw to. And then on the opposite side of the ball, TJ Watt, just a freak athlete. He owns the sack title in 2020 with 15 total sacks this year. Chief, tell me what you think.
Yeah, go ahead and give that man Defensive Player of the Year. Anyway, I'm going with the Steelers. The Browns going to wind up finding a way to choke. I think if you're looking at it coaching-wise, Tomlin's going to be prepared. He's not going to be flustered, and he's been in those situations, no doubt. No players look like they're going to be injured or out for this game, so we're going to get 100% of both. And so I'm ready to see what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a great game. Big Ben's getting that gray beard, but, I still take him a little bit over right now in big games that they have to absolutely win, more so than I would Baker Mayfield right now, even though Baker Mayfield is actually playing really good and surprising me this year. The defense for the Steelers, I love the defense for them. They got to find a way to get back like they had been the whole first 11 games of the season. Find a way to stop that run, make Baker Mayfield have to throw the ball in cold weather and make them uncomfortable. And I think, the way they have the blitz schemes and things like that, they'll be able to definitely fluster him, no doubt. And, that's kind of what it's all about. I mean, defensively for the Browns, they are good. They're not outstanding. I think, Steelers can definitely find ways to utilize it and get the ball to their playmakers in space and, try to break that under coverage that they kind of like to run a lot in the secondary. So, big and they've seen each other. They've seen each other so many times. They know what they're going to do. You can only dig into your bag of tricks so many times when you play. I mean, no team's not going to have 1,000 plays. I mean, there is a cap and there is a limit of what they do. It's just how they do it and try to make everything look the same. So it's going to be a great football game. I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. They find a way to try to find a way to get the ball in the end zone, man. I think the defense slows them down enough to win the game. It's going to be a battle, though. It's going to be a damn dogfight for sure.
Yeah, we got Tender comment. He's saying Browns shocked the world, win on Chubb's running. He's tied for the second best running back in the league with CMC. Really wish we could have seen CMC all year. But at least he's going to be real healthy for next season, which I'm not mad about. And then we're going to have another high draft pick. So hopefully we capitalize with somebody like we have this past year in that. And I'm sorry I kind of went off on a rant. When you talk about Carolina, dude, I got to mention it.
Oh Lord,
But
don't nobody say nothing about it.
I'm going different on you
I'm
again. This is the third game in a row that I am going to have to go different on you. I'm
yeah, you got to
with
win
Tanner.
this one.
I'm with Tanner. I want the Browns to shock the Steelers. The Steelers haven't had great
I'm not
competition.
holding off hope. I mean, I would rather the Browns win too. I would want them to because
In
I'd
Pittsburgh,
like to
which
see
is
Big
going to
Ben's
be
face at the end of that.
it's going to be cold. And what teams successfully do better in the cold? The running game. And the Steelers have no running game. James Conner has not been very great all season. And they haven't really gave it to anybody else. I like that Anthony McFarland kid out of Maryland. They might be saving him for maybe a big play because he's one of the fastest guys in the league. But yeah, I'm going Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett gets in Big Ben's face, even though he's one of the least sacked QBs in the league. And I'm riding that Brownie train, baby. Let's go Browns. Let's go Browns.
Baby.
Let's go take the Browns.
Control the line of scrimmage.
Let's go take it to the Super Bowl real quick.
Here's O-line. Here's TJ Watt. That's what's going to happen.
Well, we got 3 different for you guys in the last game of the day. The Bears versus the Saints, man. So a couple games are big questionable guy that's in this game is that linebacker, Roquan Smith. You see him up there in the top left. He could go or he might not. I don't know what the severity is of the injury, but man, Chicago needs that linebacker for sure if they want a chance in this game. Okay, so last game was this year. It went into overtime, and the Saints pulled it out, luckily, somehow. I have no idea. They're tied up 13-13 all time. Roquan Smith, that linebacker, he's the second linebacker overall, and he's 6th in the tackles category. If you guys don't really watch football, you've probably never heard of this guy. His name's Trey Hendrickson for the Saints. He's actually tied with Aaron Donald in sacks, which is number 2. He's got 13.5, so he's been a pretty big staple for that Saints defense. Kamara was right behind King Henry with the 16 touchdowns, not yards, just a touchdown, 16 total touchdowns, and he also added 5 receivings to that. Is this Drew Brees' final run at the Super Bowl, with his broken ribs? I put it on here, I think he's a legend. I really do. I think Drew Brees coming in here with all this grit, and he's a great football player. I think that he's definitely in the Hall of Fame. And then you got a hot David Montgomery rushing the ball for Chicago, which is going to take pressure off Mitch. And that Saints defense is top 3. So what you think about this one, Cheese?
Bears shouldn't even be in here. I don't even know how the Bears got in here. Miami looking outside the window, like kicking themselves. They're a 10-win team. Hell no, dude. The Saints win this game. I'm not even going to get into it. I don't even know how the Bears even made it, to be honest. But no, the Bears don't impress me. The Bears never impressed me since I first opened my eyes and came into this world. And they're not going to impress me Sunday. And I got the Saints definitely beating them on this one. No, there's no way. Trubisky, go home. Go get in real estate. Go do something. Quit playing football. God almighty, pisses me off. No. Nope. Saints.
Yeah, I wanted to go different on this one just because it's in a dome, and I think Chicago plays very well. But I'm not, because I do think the Saints defense is way more legit. And Alvin Kamara, even if he's getting stopped in the run, Drew Brees is going to find a way to check the ball down to him, get him in space, and he's going to do the rest. Alvin Kamara is just a freak of an athlete. It's going to be a really good game.
Teams did the Bears beat this year? Who good did they beat? I'm shocked. I really am. When I seen them making the playoffs, they're 8-8.
Yeah. So was Arizona, and Arizona got the boot because the strength of schedule. So,
bro, this is stupid. They lost to the Lions. I'm not even gonna get on that. They lost to the Lions and the Vikings. Bro, get out of my face.
Division.
No.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I think the Saints just run through them, and it's the last game of the day, so it might be a kind of boring one for all us viewers. And that's actually going to do it for our matchups of the playoffs. But I do want to roll through these questions real quick for you guys, just so you do go fill out the Google form. It is in the description, and it's also in the comments on Facebook. Okay, so who has the best chance to win the NFC was one of them. Majority of people say the Packers for sure. And then the next the top one would be the Saints. Who has the best chance to win the AFC? Handful of people pick the Chiefs, obviously defending Super Bowl champs. Why would you go against them? But then the next best was the Colts, or not the Colts, the Bills. They're playing the Colts this week. So the Bills, man, they could possibly do it. What's going on, JJ? I want to see Josh Allen show, man, throughout the whole playoffs. I hope they get matched up with Kansas City, and I hope he runs all over them. Man, I'm on that bandwagon. I'm a Panthers fan. Sean
Been on that
McDermott.
bandwagon, boy.
I know, since week one. But I love them, man. Just what they do and how they play football is just awesome, and I think that they'll get it. The teams that got no love were the Steelers and the Browns, so neither one. Actually, the Browns did get some love. The Colts didn't get no love on that. We also asked if both number one seeds would meet in the Super Bowl. A lot of people were saying at least one of these number one seeds would lose. The Chiefs and the Packers, obviously, they're number one. But a lot of people think one of those guys are going to lose this year. And I honestly agree. I mean, it would be a great Super Bowl to watch, too. Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes, that'd be a sweet one for the history books,
Dude,
for
the
sure.
first Super Bowl ever. 30-10 we won. It's 2020. Crazier shit has happened. It's going to do a full circle, and it's going to be back at it, dude. Chiefs and Packers. That would be crazy. I'd lose my mind.
Yeah, and then I asked you all these questions. Bills versus Colts, over under 52 points combined. A lot of people were saying the over in this one. Okay, but this one probably was the closest one because you don't know what type of defense that they're going to both bring here come tomorrow. The Rams versus Seahawks, who covers? The Seahawks were -4.5, but now are only -3. You know, people are betting the Rams for some reason. I don't know. The sports lines are changing, but I do think the Seahawks still cover that 3-point spread that they have. Chiefs?
No, I agree with you 100%.
Okay,
Exactly.
then we got the Bucs and the Washington football team. You know, a defensive-minded game, over under 46 points combined. That's 23 points each scored. A lot of people were saying the over on this one as well. We had about 59, 60-something% saying the over. I'd be real surprised. I really will, because I know Alex Smith doesn't really score as many points. And then Tom Brady, obviously, you know who he is. He scores a lot. But that defense, man, they come to play. I think that was a nail biter. It's going to be like 21-17 or something like that.
Yeah, I'd go under on that.
Then we got the Ravens-Titans. Who covers? -3.5 for the Ravens, okay? And the Titans are 3.5-point favorites. I do think this one's going to be a dog fight, man, in the trenches. But I'm going to go with the Titans. I think they cover the 3.5-point spread just because Derrick Henry puts the team on his back and runs all over them. Which one do you think?
I said Ravens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bears
Ravens Lamar Jackson goes crazy.
Yeah, somebody said Lamar's going to throw 4 touchdowns. I was reading on ESPN today. I don't know about all that. Then we got the Bears and the Saints, over under 48 points. Very defensive football game again. You know, Saints don't allow too many points, and the Bears, obviously, Khalil Mack coming down. Bears are on the iffy side of that. So that one's 50-50. Most people chose the under in this one as well, just because of that defense. And then the Browns versus Steelers is the last question. Who wins? Browns versus Steelers. I'll leave it up to you guys, the viewers. Go fill out that Google Doc. You know, go pick it. We do enjoy it. But the Browns are coming to town, boys.
Ooh, the brownies, doo-doo heads. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, and that's going to do it for our questions. We do appreciate you guys coming in the chat, commenting. This one was a quick one. There was only 6 games for you guys. Thank you for viewing. Chiefs, kill 'em with the vibe.
Playoff football, baby. Everybody tune in, watch. Thanks for tuning in and watching and sticking with us all season. Now it's starting to get hot, boy. Peace.